I never expected the truth to find me in the form of a cashier's trembling hand. That day, on the way to visit my daughter-in-law's family, I asked my son to stop at a nearby supermarket to buy a cake. He parked, went inside, and I followed. At the register, as I handed over the money, the young cashier grabbed my wrist. His eyes darted past my shoulder, then back to me. "Check the back door," he whispered. The words were so soft they barely existed, but they lodged inside me like a splinter. He let go quickly, scanning the aisles like he had just committed treason. I didn't ask questions. I walked casually toward the back, slipped through the employee entrance, and stood in the shadowed corridor. 5 minutes later, I saw it with my own eyes. My son, my blood, standing too close to a woman who wasn't his wife. His hand lingered on her waist. Her laughter was not casual. Their bodies bent toward each other with the intimacy of secrets. And just like that, my world shifted. The past that made the betrayal cut deeper. I raised him to value loyalty. His father left when he was young, and I spent years convincing him that betrayal was poison, that family was sacred. When he married, I celebrated more than a wedding. I believed he had chosen what I never had: stability, partnership, trust. I welcomed his wife as my own daughter. When she called me Ami, it filled a hollow space I had carried for decades. She deserved the truth. But as I stood in that supermarket hallway, watching my son kiss another woman, I realized he had become what he once despised. The subtle signs I ignored. It hadn't come out of nowhere. Looking back, the pieces rearranged themselves into a cruel puzzle. The late nights, the silenced calls, the new cologne he wore when he said he was working late. I brushed it aside, convincing myself he was simply adjusting to married life. But denial is a dangerous comfort. And now denial had been stripped from me in fluorescent supermarket lighting. Control over rage. I did not storm in. I did not confront. Anger is loud and clumsy. Revenge requires silence. I walked back out, cake box in hand, and wore a smile for the rest of the visit. Not a single word betrayed what I had seen. My son thought he was still in control of his lies. But that day, I began writing the script of his downfall. The plan I started small. His wife trusted me. She always had. So I stayed close, observing, guiding her gently toward questions she had never dared to ask. I planted seeds, subtle and patient. He seems tired lately, doesn't he? Strange how his phone is always on silent. Each sentence was a thread, and soon she began to weave suspicion on her own. Meanwhile, I gathered proof. Screenshots of his messages, photos of his car parked where it shouldn't be, a copy of his hotel booking that I retrieved through a favor owed. Every piece went into a quiet file. I also studied his weaknesses. He was reckless with money, careless with details. His arrogance made him sloppy. I made sure his wife found the receipts he tried to hide. I guided her toward the lawyer I trusted. I was not destroying my son. I was unmasking him. The execution. The confrontation happened not in a fight, but in a dining room filled with family. I had arranged the gathering under the guise of celebration. His wife's parents, her siblings, even my son's closest friends sat at the table. The air smelled of biryani and cardamom tea. My son entered, smiling, unsuspecting. That's when his wife stood. Her voice shook, but her words were sharp. She held the photographs, the receipts, the undeniable evidence. She laid them out one by one on the table. Silence gripped the room like a vice. And I watched his face crumble. The smugness evaporated, replaced with panic. He looked at me, searching for rescue. But I gave him nothing. I simply met his eyes and tilted my head. The smallest gesture that told him everything. You did this. I saw it. I let it happen. He tried to deny, to shout, to twist. But every denial was met with another piece of proof. He was trapped in his own web. His wife didn't cry. She didn't beg. She announced she would be filing for divorce in front of everyone. His shame was complete. The fall. Over the weeks that followed, his world collapsed. His wife left, taking half of what he had built. His in-laws, once his allies, turned their backs. Friends distanced themselves, unwilling to stand beside a proven liar. And me? I played the grieving mother, whispering that I never expected this, that I was heartbroken too. But inside, I felt the quiet satisfaction of justice. He had destroyed trust. I had ensured the consequences arrived with precision. The resolution. I often think back to that supermarket cashier, a stranger who gave me a key, though he didn't know what door it would open. His whisper led me into the shadows, where truth waited like a blade.